Bread, week 2, the recipe, the plan revealed. So we know what we're really working towards, step by step, a vision for our intentions. Our gospel lesson for today presents a switch, a little bit of a surprise for the crowd. Previously, the crowd had been part of that feeding of the multitudes, and so they go looking for Jesus again. And their approach is interesting. Right? Like any set of directions, recipes really should be read through before beginning. There have been a couple of times I've gotten caught by that, where I've just tried mixing things together in order of ingredients or just started the instructions without looking ahead, only to find that I maybe should have gotten a pan ready first or let something rest or rise, or I should have been doing something while something else was cooking so that they were ready at the same time. And I say that that's happened a few times to me, like you think I would have learned the first time. Anyway, the recipe gives you all those instructions. If you take the time to read it through so you know what you need to do and when. The crowd kind of seems to be jumping ahead in our reading without really hearing or taking the time to listen to what Jesus is saying. It's almost like they're trying to manipulate the outcome rather than follow the conversation and actually hear the message. Skipping the rising time or mixing these or those ingredients together rather than separately. In this case, it's a little more severe, of course. Jesus is constantly giving away all the answers, the plan, the result itself. But they're not really interested in that. They only want their own plan, their own agenda to be filled. And they're kind of saying things in a way that will try to maybe make that happen to get Jesus to do what they want. A Jesus, a God who does what they want him to, regardless of what God's plan is. And, it does make me think, how many times have we pushed that? Maybe just a little. Tried to manipulate the recipe to achieve the outcome of personal benefit, rather than follow and work toward what is actually good news for all. Right? Not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves. All right, what sign will you give us? If we're thinking signs, our ancestors ate manna in the wilderness, like bread from heaven, right? Yeah. We might believe you if you did that. So yeah, what work will you perform? Or what must we do to perform the work of God? We can eat and still feel empty. Right? We can achieve and still be looking for meaning. We can try to manipulate Jesus' words and vision for us, but in doing so, we set ourselves up in not finding the message we've actually been given. Because here's the thing, Jesus wants to give them something better, something more. He does, side note, he does want them to be fed physically, right? We covered that last week. The verses from last week, the feeding of the multitudes, the 5,000 there, are proof enough of that. And we did cover that last week. Approaching resources with an attitude of abundance, gratitude, and generosity. But we also need to realize that that's not all there is to it. Right? The significance of that miracle and everything else that's in this bigger plan points to the idea that there's more to it. There's more to it. Eternity, life abundant, Jesus, the Son of God, bringing good news to the world, getting to be part of that. Getting to be part of that. The work of God, that you believe in the one whom God sent and maybe listen to them too. and see where that's going. Listen and see where that's going, rather than assuming we know, or worse, controlling what that is or can be. What are we missing when we limit what we think God can do, or what we will allow God to do? Right? What are our intentions? What's our vision? What are we envisioning when we hear this? How do we make sure to listen as well as talk to God? To wonder as well as act? To seek after the bread of life, Jesus, who reminds us that this bread of life is that which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Let us catch that vision that Jesus presents. And then let us follow that vision, that we might be part of that life abundant. That's something more. Now and for forever. Amen.